Hi, this is Christelle Martinette, and I'm here with a scrying session for the full moon, the 31st full moon in Libra, I believe it is, full moon in Libra. And we, as I always say, it is so strong, the period before that, that my clients come to me with such odd requests, such odd occurrences that take place. Now I'm here fiddling with my computer so I can get the right. Okay, there you are. Now, and I'm scrying for you from the 30th. I'm on the 30th in Europe, so it could be, well, from the 31st to into the 4th of April. And I have with me here, this sculpture, this olive wood sculpture, and a series of stones. I have fluorite here, citrine. This is, I have to say, it's just my favorite stone. This favorite particular citrine. I have chalcedony here, jade, and moldavite here, and smoky quartz. Let's start with this fluorite. So I remember the last time I scried, I was talking of 2 or 3 people, a small group. I'm seeing 5, as if we are in a center and 4 people surrounding us. It's similar to the shape of a cross when you're reading in cards, the spread of a cross, where there is a center card and 4 surrounding. We are in a group of 4 surrounding people. And the why that is relevant is because these people flank us in the front, back, side, and the other side. And it is a guarded protection. So when we move, and even if we don't feel like we're moving in unison with the energies in front of us and to the sides of us, we have a feeling of being together with other souls, with other human beings. And there is a certain amount of transparency of where you're going, where we're going, where we are moving, and that allows people alongside of us to step in, to come in step with us, as if they were going to accompany us for just a very brief 100 meters, 100 yards, a very brief passage, just to talk to us, to get an idea of what we think about something. So we're on the move. We are on the move, but it's a very slow movement. It's not a fast movement. It's a slow movement, one step after the other, stopping, smelling the flowers, looking at things around us, not meditating our fate and destiny, but thinking about where we are. Where am I now in this moment? Let me take a look if I understand and I recognize, if I recognize the surroundings, if I recognize what I'm looking at. And then we take a look at inanimate objects, animate objects, things that previously to us had no life, like, for example, stones. We would never think that a stone would have, like a dark black stone on the ground, would have any form of life, but now we see things. There's a certain amount of tingling electricity in there. There's energy that is palpable, and as we walk, we feel it, and we're coming alive. It is the that which happens. I could say it's a spring. Typically we think of spring as things coming alive. It's the beginning of something. And this is what I'm actually seeing here. I'm seeing the possibility of um, not only the possibility, the actual occurrence here of going through as if it were a fresh shower, a shower of cool water that's not even too cold, that gives us just enough coolness, just enough cool, that sensation, so we stay awake. We're alert. We have this alert sensation. This is a full moon of being alert. And so when people come to me and talk about what has occurred to them, I lost my job, or I've been diagnosed with this, and all of a sudden something, happened so serious in my life. And I asked them, well, didn't you see it coming? And they all said yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I knew something was going to happen, and which is very interesting. Now, the idea of accompanying, having people accompany us, having things, inanimate objects with us on our road is quite significant, because we are no longer alone in our quest, in our journey, in our battle that we have, depending on your own situation. And the expression, well, we all have a cross to bear. We could call it a cross. Well, now, in this, those of us who celebrate the holiday of Easter, that may hold some significance, our cross to bear. But if we see it in another way, we could say that the road that we take could be downhill or uphill, and whether we're carrying any load is not important. What is important is the amount of awareness in this period that accompanies us, which makes the movement, the experiences, the moving forward so significant. And it seems, I'm getting the impression that air and water and steam are all locked into one, all laid one over another. You can't tell the difference between steam, water, rain. And it's as sort of walking through a cloud on the one hand, but it's clear, crystal clear. So you have this actual tingling effect. The idea of tingling, that is the best explanation that I could offer for this sensation that you have, sort of electricity on your skin as we're walking along. Electricity in the sense of awakening. We're becoming awake and reawakening. And I'm taking the citrine. And what I like, especially of what I'm seeing, is the fact of one being characteristic of what we would call the morning. It's a new morning. It's as if we're going through a morning, an awake period, the period when we awaken. And clarity and cleanliness. This word cleanliness, not as opposed to dirtiness, but cleanliness in the sense of washing through this shower of tingling water, haze, something that feels so comforting on our skin. And but there is no drop. There are no drops. We don't see drops coming down our skin. It's a sensation of dew, like the dew that you see in a morning mist. It's not even a mist. It's something so clear. And what this clarity brings, because the key word here is clarity. What the clarity brings is the ability for us, whether we want to or not, to see things not for what they are, because we all know that our subjective qualities, if we see something at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we see it differently with respect to how we see it at 5 o'clock in the morning. So not to see it with more reality in inverted commas, but to see it more realistically to our eyes, in the sense it becomes more real for me in the way I perceive it. It becomes more realistically perceived by my eyes and skin and smell and taste. It's awakening. There's an awakening of the senses, I feel, and um, it feels, even just to look at it and to describe it um, is so refreshing. This is what I'm feeling. This complete refreshing sensation. And on the one hand, you get the impression that you're in a dream and you're walking very slowly, and you're looking for a sort of sanity to this insane vision that you're having, a sort of truth, to the visions that don't seem like as if they were real, but you walk through them as if they were visions of a that are not true to your everyday life visions that you usually see them with. And what's interesting here is the fact that you have, for one slight, and when I say you, I mean all of us, we have for one few, for just a few seconds, we get the impression that we might be suspended in time. Every step of the way we are being suspended in time, just enough so we can stop and give our undivided attention to that moment, to that second, to those stones. And it seems like we're bestowed a gift of self-awareness, or of awareness of your surroundings, of being in the moment. And it seems we're experiencing it as if it were a gift. And the gift, the actual gift of this full moon, despite any kind of news you may have got or received in the upcoming days, the 26th, 27th, this entire week leading up to the 31st, despite any kind of bad news that you might consider bad news, or heavy news, we have to hand it to the full moon that it's a waterfall that's coming down and clarifying and cleaning and awakening us. It's just so lovely, I have to say. It's lovely, and it's for those who are a bit weaker of heart and who like the status quo more and being more regular and static, may find it hard to be difficult to adapt to this type of atmosphere, because it's an atmosphere. There's a new context here. The context seems to be shifting. It's giving us a new, as if we were on a set, on a movie set, and they're about to film Hawaii, and they have to bring in the climate of Hawaii and the atmosphere, and so they let the mist come down and the ocean mist come out, and that's what we're experiencing. It's just a gift of a change of scenery, standing still. Of course, I said we were walking through, and we have that slow motion going through. And so what does this tell us? It tells us that even though we may not be going anywhere, and there are people who are traveling, but what I'm seeing is this slow motion movement of being more aware, stepped up awareness in our current environment. That is giving us the impression that this slow motion movement is part of a bigger Ferris wheel, where each little cabin on the Ferris wheel has its own microclimate, its own microcosmic experience. And so let's say there are 12 cabins, these are 12 little wagons on this Ferris wheel, and each of us in these cabins are experiencing something different. but with the same dynamics of movement, of motion. And because of that, we feel very, very good. We feel very flanked. We feel as if we have a lot of company. We do not feel alone whatsoever, despite what we're going through. And so it's a time also that there's an exchange of ideas, but not in that many words. There's an exchange of looks, of nods, of gestures, gesticulation that you acknowledge each other with. And what's cool, I'm going to use that cool, what's cool about that is that you feel so much more bonded to those around you because of the fewer words, because there are fewer words to have to be said. They're not even expected. So in this this context of non-expectation, everyone feels more relaxed, actually. And you have a high dosage of life being pushed in, being seeping in automatically, or all of a sudden into the immediate moment, that we're so happy for the people that we feel around us, for those who are walking, who are flanking us in that cross formation that I mentioned in the very beginning. It's so wonderful how jade interacts with the other stones and immediately harmonizes the energies here. This chalcedony is in that same class of stones that put a calming effect, give us a calming effect, an extreme calming effect. And there are layers and layers of, when we talk about dressing in layers, and a lot of people in Italian, we say onion skins, where you don't know what the climate's going to be like, so we have layers of clothing so we can take them off or put them on. I'm seeing the layers. We are putting something similar on, layers, so as to protect us in an odd way, knowing that we cannot guard ourselves against others who are walking with us in unison and flanking us. We don't want to erect walls. No, it's more of a protection for the warmth of our body, for the to distinguish your body from the air, and it's more a protection, for a personal protection for the way we interact with the air, not the people. It's our the atmospheric conditions around us. And in this moment, in these 4 days, 5 days, what these dynamics allow for, and what the experiences that we have allow for, is a shift in the importance of people, presences in the background, and the climate that's touching our skin, that we are immersed in, that we're interacting in, and moving in, takes the front seat, and that is the protagonist. And so when we talk of onion skins, when I talked about onion skins, I meant that the layers need to be gauged in order for us to acclimatize. We need to become adapted to what our environment is. And there is warmth. There is warmth of character. There's warmth of the harmony brings warmth. There's also there is love, and it is more than any time. Not, and I always, it's a dumb thing to say, more than any time in your life. With respect to the recent past, these 4 or 5 days has you feeling a surge of love. You'll be moved to tears more often. Emotional outbursts, but not in the sense of, oh. No, the tears will be brought to your eyes when certain thoughts come to you. And they will be welcome. It will be a welcome phenomenon. You're not going to be shy away from this. You're going to flow with the emotions, and you'll be actually thankful for being able to feel these emotions. There's also a the difference that we feel these days between what we expect to be very, very, very hard, materially hard like a stone. Instead, we perceive it as something almost permeable, where we can practically move right through it. And we'll have the sensation in these dynamics of actually being energy that is permeable. And we'll be having that sense of lightness. And that is the first step in feeling the lightness that is so lovely, that we all aspire to, actually, that sense of lightness of being. Well, I'm going to keep that on, and it on that note, on the lightness of being. And with that, I hope you enjoy this period, this lightness of being. Just let me take a look one more at this crystal, the smoky quartz, to see if it's shouting. That's why I stopped. It's shouting. Remember me. Don't forget me. There's one thing that is brought up by this smoky quartz, and it's important. And I'm feeling it in my throat right away, and that is what I'm going to say. You will note these days that if you are able to find a stillness and think and concentrate, you will be able to see and feel within your body the precise area where there is something coming up. If you're about to have a cold, a cough, you can feel exactly in what part of your lungs, in what part of your back, in what part of your neck, in what part of your tummy, exactly where in the future, where something is about to come up, something is about to. And knowing that, and this is why this lovely stone called, try to address it energetically and remove it before it affects you negatively. Take all the precautions necessary. You know, people use inhaling steam with essential oils, or bathing in certain substances. So think about that. Thank you, thank you, crystal quartz. This smoky, beautiful crystal quartz. It's a pendulum as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope this was of help to you, and have a lovely full moon period. I believe it's a blue moon. And until we scry together again, namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Bye bye.